This is the plaintiff, Jacqueline Gaylord. She says her neighbor torched the side of her garage and fence, then tried to cover it up. That's right, this woman put her safety in jeopardy with her carelessness. She tried to hide the crime. Now she refuses to pay her the $2,875 she's suing for repairs and punitive damages. This is the defendant, Felicia. She says she returned from a vacation to find numerous notes pinned to her door, stating she started some sort of fire and caused damage to the plaintiff's fence. She ignored the nonsense. Then a few months later, the plaintiff confronted her. This whole situation is utterly ridiculous because she did not light any kind of fire. She's accused of igniting a lawsuit.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. This is a neighborhood war to end all wars. The plaintiff says the defendant lit her fence on fire, put her family in grave danger. The defendant is saying she doesn't know where this woman is coming from. She never lit the fence on fire, never touched it. It's the case of, come on, baby, please don't light my fire.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Gaylord, you are suing your, I guess it's your backdoor neighbor, Felicia, is that correct?
Yes.
For damages to your shed and your gate that you say she knows about and tried to cover up. Do you two know each other before this event? Had you ever spoken to each other?
No.
Okay, so what happens? One fine day, your landscaper points out that there's some burn marks?
No, I normally get my lawn done starting in the beginning of March. I get it done every 2 weeks up until the end of September. When the fall comes, I wait to December to have the leaves picked up on my landscape. So normally we talk, and I told him I wanted some trees taken down, like branches.
Yeah,
so
I don't need to know those details. Just tell me how you learned about the damage. How did you learn about it?
I walked in my backyard the first week of December, and I started to tie up some branches and everything, and I seen a huge burnt on my back fence and my garage. I called my landscape, and I said, "Did you see anything?"
Can you see the picture?
He said, "No, I didn't."
You see the picture that I have up?
Yes.
Do you see the picture I have up? All right, so the white part is your garage and the wooden part is your fence, correct?
Yes.
How much distance is in between those two things, like 2 feet?
It's 2 feet, yes.
Did you show it to your landscaper?
I showed it to my landscaper. He said that he didn't see anything, but there are bushes like probably 2 feet. So he wouldn't really go behind the garage. He would go up to the trees too, as far as doing my lawn. So he wouldn't go at that far. You see, because those trees,
so what makes you think she's responsible?
They come out to the fence. Some, you know what? Because in 2016, the beginning of 2016, I went back there because there was like branches, and I picked everything up. That fence was perfectly fine. I didn't go back again until the following year. Okay, and she bought the house.
I'm still not hearing why you think she's responsible. I need you to tell me, why do you think she is responsible?
Because someone said, because there's no way, I have cameras at my house. I reviewed all the camera footage. Nobody walked back there in my yard. You have to go down my driveway, through my garage, and turn in the back. Someone had to put out that fire. If not, all my trees, I have 3 large trees in the background, they would have turned around and been engulfed.
Okay, now everything you're saying may be true. Now tell me why you think she's responsible.
I think that she's responsible because I came to her house several times and asked her to look at the damage. And then I went in her yard to talk to her. And then I seen that, if you see the picture with the board is full of soot and burnt. Because I knocked on the door
this
to talk
picture
to her.
here is
That
what you're
board right
talking
there was
about.
up against.
Hold on one second. This is a picture taken from her yard?
Correct.
What are you doing on her yard?
I came to ask her to, I came to talk to her, and they were putting up
were you talking to her when you took this picture, or did you just trespass onto her property to take the picture?
No, I was talking to the landscape people. I said, I need to see the damage to my back fence. And the guy said, okay, just walk back there. And I walked back there, and I seen that board.
So you weren't there to talk to her, you were there to take pictures.
I was there to take pictures of my fence. so I can report
What
it
is
to
this,
my.
Felicia? Let me ask you a question. What is this board that's here and what's the black that's on it?
I have no idea. I never seen that.
Well, this is your side of the yard.
It's my side of the yard. I don't even go into the back of the yard. As far as I know, she came onto my property several times, and I don't know if she placed it there.
Did you have roofers doing any work?
I had my roof done over.
When?
I think it was 2017.
And you found the burn marks when, Miss Gaylord?
December 1st, that's when I made the police report.
December 2017?
Correct.
So do we think the roofers did this? What is it you think?
No.
Were there roofers out there when you noticed the burn marks?
Yes, I did. When the roofer
why don't
was
you tell
out
me
there,
about
because I came around the house to ask for her, and they said she's not here. I said, can I take some pictures to bring to my mortgage company, my insurance company, so I can put a claim in? And they said, fine. That's
Did
when I
you
seen
ask
the board
them if
up
they
against the
dropped a
fence.
bucket of hot tar? Did you ask them if they dropped anything?
No, because you know why? There was nothing back there. They wasn't back there. They were on the roof. Their truck
Okay,
was in
I
the
see a
driveway.
ladder in one of these pictures. Take a look at this picture. Did you take this picture?
Yes, I did.
And you did that in June of 2018 or June of this
That's
year?
June of 2020.
2020. All right, so when I'm seeing a ladder, whose ladder is that?
That is on Mrs. Laham's side.
Whose ladder is that? Can you see that ladder, and why is that ladder there?
Oh, I was starting my garden. One of my landscapers was starting the garden, and so he put the ladder up there to cut some of the tree limbs down.
All right. So when your neighbors, let me just ask you. So your neighbor starts to put some notes on your door. You come home from vacation. You see the notes, and what more or less, what did the notes say?
She has an estimate for me to meet up with her, for me to make payment arrangements, because her garage and the fence was burnt, and it was started from my side, and I had no idea what she was talking about.
Did you answer her and say, look, lady, I don't know what you're talking about. This has nothing to do with me?
I did. I went over it and
what
I
did she
looked
say?
at it, and I told her. She invited me over to look, and I looked, and I said, no, I don't have anything to do with that. She gave me the estimate, and I walked away like, okay, I'm not going to pay for this.
Okay. And why did it take you so long to sue? You waited many, many years to sue. Why is that?
Because I worked 2 jobs and I had family responsibilities in New York. And yes, I did. And I did invite her over on a Sunday. She said that she was always working. I'm sorry, I deleted by accident my text messages. Probably Miss Latham has the correspondence for almost a year that I was contacting her. And I did invite her over on a Sunday.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you remember who you hired to, Ms. Felicia, do you remember who you hired to do the roofing work?
I have to go through my papers. I don't know offhand.
Well, this case is a mystery. The plaintiff is saying the defendant squarely set her fence on fire because she's so angry at her. The defendant is saying absolutely no way, didn't happen. She didn't do it. We're going to find out who did it, and we'll see who the judge pins the blame on. Let's go into the courtroom.
I assume you didn't do your own roofing work. You hired a company to do the roofing work.
Yes.
A roofer, okay. So here's where, listen, Ms. Gaylord, you have absolutely no evidence that Felicia did this. You have a really little bit of evidence that it's possible that roofers who were there on December of 2017, from what I'm looking at, may have spilled a bucket of hot tar, which roofers use. So you're suing the wrong person. You might be able to prove a case against the roofers, but in a situation when a homeowner hires a company, a separate company, an independent contractor to do work, and the independent contractor is negligent, that doesn't mean just because she lives there, she has to pay for their negligence. You have to sue them so long as they are a disclosed agent of Felicia, which means, Felicia, I'm going to give you 48 hours to disclose who the roofer is and provide that information to the plaintiff. And you can take your chances against the roofer, but I have to tell you, if all you have is the coincidence that they're doing roofing there, I don't know, you may, if they admit that they were using tar, maybe you have a case against them, I don't know. But you have zero evidence that Felicia did this, and you're suing her because she's, the owner there, or she's the resident there.
At the time the roofers were there, their truck, they were nowhere near there. They were nowhere near there. All of them was on.
Well, then you're really out of
the
gas. Now you have zero evidence that anything happened from that side that caused your burn. Now it's just a mystery then. What evidence do you have that Felicia did something? The bottom line is that there's no evidence that you are presenting me with that Felicia did something. Yes, somebody set a fire or somebody poured something, dropped something that was burning there. Somebody. How are you proving that it's her? You can't.
Judge Milian, I really think Ms. Laham did have something to do with it because my trees were so dense. And you know what? If it happened at night, no one would have been able to put that fire out except them, except her family.
Why? Why can't it be any other trespasser? Why can't it be, because somebody trespassed to put it out. So why can't it be a different person? Why can't it be anybody who's been on your property, in December of 2017? Look, in court, we don't deal with, I think it's her. In court, you have to be able to prove by a preponderance of the evidence that it was her and she's responsible. And I just don't see it. Based on what I'm looking at, I find in favor of the defendant.
Judge Milian, but the thing is that no one would go inside my...
Stick around.
So the judge finds for the defendant in this case, saying the plaintiff had no proof that the defendant did anything to cause a fire on her roof. Let's talk to the defendant. Felicia, I'd love to know how you responded when you found out you were being sued by your neighbor. What did you think?
I thought it was a joke. Because I know I definitely didn't start a fire. I work 2 jobs just as well as she do. I go on vacation regularly, and I definitely don't be in my backyard.
I know you're neighbors, but I gather you're not very good friends together. Is that right?
No, because she's a bully of the neighborhood. She bullies neighbors, and this one wasn't having it.
Well, this obviously is not going to help any. But anyway, you're off the hook now, so don't worry about. Although you do have to give her the name of your roofer. You will do that. You have 48 hours. Right?
I will do that.
Okay, good enough. All right, Ms. Gaylord, how do you feel? You had no proof it was her, and the judge says, sorry, you can't win.
I don't know where she comes with this concept. I'm the bully of the neighborhood. I go to work, I come home, I'm very I'm friendly with the people on my block. I don't even know this woman. So she got 48 hours to give the information so I can pursue it, but I know that she set fire to my backyard. No one could walk in my backyard and set that fire.
Well, unfortunately, you couldn't prove it, so you don't win. So that's the way it ends. Sorry about that. And that'll wrap it up for this case, then. Let us join now Judge Marilyn Milian and her husband, Judge John, again for another session of After the Verdict.
Marilyn, coal tar and asphalt are usually used when people repair roofs. They put it down, that hot stuff, and they have to turn it into a liquid. So roofers come to your house, they set up a tar kettle, and they fire it with propane, maybe natural gas.
How do you know all this stuff? You're never on our roof.
From just basic construction.
Just from living in the north?
Exactly. I had friends
from your Buffalo days?
And I have had lawsuits where roofers got burned from coal kettle fires.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking, and that's why I asked about the roofers. And then it was kind of strange that the plaintiff cut off her nose to spite her face. Oh, no, the roofers were nowhere near there, and that's going to come back to haunt her if she attempts to sue the roofers.
Right, but the reality is you could put the kettle a little bit farther away from the edge of the house in a
But it would have
safe
had
place,
to be, see, isn't that weird, though? Because it would have had to be high up for it to be the roofers. Like, it would have had to be...
No, they always keep the kettle on the ground.
So then how does the kettle...
It's always on the ground.
So how would the kettle do that kind of damage that we have in that picture where it starts...
Because you have asphalt or this coal tar in there, and you have to keep it hot to keep it liquid. And if it reaches the flash point of that substance that's in there, boom, it's just a conflagration, and all of a sudden you've got the fence burning and everything.
But wouldn't there
around
be burn from the other side of the fence too then? And that's what's strange. I don't think we had burns on the other side of the fence. So it's really a mystery. I don't know. The only thing I do know is that I've got one job, and my job is to figure out if the plaintiff proved that Felicia did it,
Right.
and Felicia didn't do it.
And certainly, lawsuit 101 is make sure you sue the right person.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And make sure you come in with something other than, oh, who else could it have been? I mean, it's, you know, she's the person that lives closest to where my damage is. She essentially sued her because it's the person who lives closest to where her damage is.
Right.
And the defendant wasn't even there when it happened. She was on vacation.
Certainly not enough.
No.
There you have it.
I gotta say, Rusty Burrell was awesome. He was the nicest man you'd ever want to meet, never had a bad word for anybody. And by the way, he was a good bailiff because Judge Watner could get tough, and Judge Watner loved him.